Transitional Bilingual Education
by Karen Oshinsky and Rebecca Kaufman.
Transitional bilingual education is one of several forms of bilingual instruction used in the United States.
In these classrooms, students who are not yet proficient in English receive instruction in their native language in all subject areas, as well as instruction in English as a second language.
This means that students learn academic content in their own language while learning to read, write, and speak English at the same time.
This begins a process that involves a gradual transition to all English instruction.
But do transitional bilingual education programs actually work?
Duran, Rosseth, and Hoffman say yes.
This was a longitudinal mixed method study that compared a group of ESL preschoolers who received a transitional bilingual education to another group of preschoolers who were immersed in English-only instruction over the course of 3 years. During this study, researchers gathered their data by conducting interviews with the students' families, observational data given to them by the teachers, and through various tests.
This research study was specifically chosen for inclusion in this module because it highlights the needs students have to receive instruction in their native language, as well as the benefits that can be derived from this type of education. The outcome of this study showed that students in a transitional bilingual education program displayed tremendous gains in their native language development when compared to the group of preschoolers who received English-only instruction. These results should be used by teachers to help them understand the significance of nurturing the child's native language in order to scaffold their transition to academic second language learning.
However, students are only allowed to be a part of this program for no more than 2 to 3 years before they are mainstreamed into predominantly English-speaking classrooms.
According to Ovando, a major problem with the transitional model is the common misconception that 2 years is sufficient time to learn a second language for schooling purposes.
This is because students have very little time to maintain their native language and grade level understanding of key concepts, while additionally becoming fluent in their second language.
Unfortunately, due to a heavy focus on teaching English, this type of program often results in a watered-down curriculum in order to make room for second language instruction.
Although this system does not completely submerge students in English-only instruction, it is probably the least beneficial bilingual method because of its seeming focus on assimilation through the use of early exit.
So, how will you teach me?
Here are some do's and don'ts of bilingual education.
Always respect other cultures by effectively integrating diversity into your year-round curriculum.
A useful teaching strategy that you can use in your own classroom is to let the students reflect on their own culture and beliefs.
So the teacher can define culture for the class and then ask students to share about how their own cultures might correspond to or differ from the teacher's culture.
Then allow students to write about their culture and what it means to them. Encourage students to share those thoughts and feelings with the whole class.
It's not a good idea to sporadically introduce only cultural celebrations and facts into your instructional time. This is also known as the system of traits model.
Make sure you attempt to learn more about your students' educational, cultural, and linguistic backgrounds.
Never make assumptions about your students or their personal history.
You should always try to engage students in active learning through hands-on classroom activities.
Try not to spend the majority of your instructional time lecturing.
Incorporating heterogeneous group work into your lesson plans is another way to help your ESL students.
You shouldn't think that just because a student can speak English well socially, it necessarily means they are able to comprehend academic English, as these two types of language vary greatly.
You can keep your assessments culturally and developmentally appropriate through the use of systematic, concrete, and/or hands-on evaluations.
Don't forget to incorporate modifications in your assessment tools for culturally and linguistically diverse students, such as allowing them more time to complete assessments or providing dictionaries.
You should try to connect with your students by actively observing your class and listening to what they have to say.
Watering down the core curriculum to account for second language learning is exceptionally harmful to your students.
Use the PRISM model to ensure you acknowledge and address all areas of your students' needs, which include sociocultural, cognitive, academic, and linguistic factors.
Focusing only on assessment and high-stakes testing will not give you an accurate picture of your students' comprehension of or achievement within the full curriculum.
All students need to understand what they're being taught, and they're trusting you to teach them.
Are you ready?